Alright, so Master Mason Note, we're coming at you here. Can't hear shit. And it is. But we running it out. I'm loving this local militia play I'm doing. I love tearing up the workforce, Delhi, Battlefield, Hancock, Walton, Homestead, taking New York City. Well, the goal is to be able to get it because generally that's how they nuke my play. Beautiful science, do it in a school district in New York City. This is an Epsom sphere problem worthy of a triple body general here living at the point. Realistically, from this area of the region, you have to start doing things on the top end. Company wise, this starts to get real. I love that apartments.com. We got a guy out on Mars for 200 days. There is nothing out here. Horrible efficiency. It comes up if you got something to say. Taxation representation would close the gates. Stop telling you to do this. Sanction this shit off like the military couldn't step in here. This is a normal day. Coffers are filling up fine against the normal standard about what that X number could do or could not do, and we will hold back on that number with all of these people given that system inside here, or at least here is a demographic from the town of Hancock, from the town of Delhi, from the joint aspects of them being able to link and communicate as a group to determine what the mass is of those situations. Because then I want the floor man. I want the floor mod in there to tell me, hey, this is how you thermal rock. This is how this process is done. And I need an M2 on that. This is the entire process of one tread. This is a changeover setup. This is night rotations or morning rotations. Turn it on, turn it off. They may seem backwards to some in the asteroids, MIT designing of the Taurus universe. When you click into those files and there's multiple different versions of particles, or what the M1, M2 over R1 is, F1 plus F2 minus F1, square root of A, pi, it's a radiant figure, it's a radiant times 3, pi squared, pi r squared, right? And that's what that difference is. That gives me a circumference of that area and gives me the working joules of, they're supposed to be 3, but it's a perspective problem in the stone mill. It's a problem that, regardless of Epsom spheres or whatever, colony collapse or wave collapse in the calculus of the graphs, old Farmer Brown's. Here's how I did it. These were the ones that did it. It graphed across the board. Here, here, and here. In the marshmallows of all I got in my beekeeping system, that pretty much is going to show your collapse. These points of where they do that. No. Let me see it. Let me see it. Say what we do with the numbers. Well, let's do them. So hopefully we get this integrated here. You got to build local cloud. If I can't get one person from the town to be like, dude, you should go to the town meetings every once in a while. Like maybe the person, people concerned for the people of their town, maybe heard some birds tweeting out here, maybe get in touch with those players. Recruiters in the army and stuff like that. It's like, dude, you got pipe hitters sitting out here in some of these mills for what it is, and you just can't back on that like America, right? Yeah, and you got the right to bear arms, freedom, everything. You are the motherfuckers that make the rule and enforce it. What is wrong with this? Come on down to blue. So our workforce program, it's country store. I worked the country store. I worked a lot of the individual mill methods. And like I said, I never really caught that tax model. It's like, all right, so let's take a few months. Let's take a few of the players that know how to do stock, cut them off the nut that they want for this to manage the time that they have to offset to take them off the floor because regular stuff. Oh, I'm hearing a few Tweety Birds. Rampog! Damn Blue Falcon. Anyways. You know, there's real players that do, and in the engineering or something like that, I don't question much of it as stonemason. I just put you on a different machine. You have a broken back in standard physics, standard model against what this does. It calcs, it graphs by my models. Your honor. This is not statistical bullshit. This is dual diagnosis against mental, physical, or exposure to everything America and anything Russia, China, the ocean, space. Just time. You have enough time. They kind of notice, you know, a lot of this stuff, you're walking around the mill floor and you're just wait. Do you matter? Black lives, white matter, blue, camo, whatever. If I'm standing in that stone mill long enough and you stand there with me, one of these days that floor is going to drop out. And the difference is going to be me and you on that rope. And when the floor goes out, man, what happens, dude? I'm telling you, there's cemetery ground back here. I got all kinds of case studies and reference on those. I got them double down, triple down, locked in, deck corded, ready to go. And that's not just for demo, or that's for demo reasons. I want to be able to keep a lot of that. Realistically, you have a computer. I'm good here. I'm good here. Give me a computer programmer who wants to get some of this net up. I mean, a lot of it's there. And then you need some hype man stuff. We're using that method. We're just going to do Jordan Stoneman, Caveman this thing until we can actually function with that out. So that way, you know, because if you do have a local militia or times when it's like, all right, we've been simulator in everything anyways, this is training day. I mean, well, why can't I sit at Director of Information Technology? We have emergency technicians for riot response, you know, class classification of who you are, what is 83 to generating more of this bad decision-making processing and using it as the Supreme Court case. Go for it. You know, in the stone mill, if you were working outside of the system and locked down, arrested, you wouldn't have been the one that was shitting on the cop car that was upside down, honey. And I think everybody on YouTube or Facebook saw that one. There's a lot of times when you post that kind of you just had no clue that this is around you. You have tattoos identifying features that give the exact mass of the bunny trails to those positions. And, I mean, it's like, on the cop side, it doesn't take it a special investigator. This might be your first day sometimes. You know, you videotape that. I don't know if the rule is in Russia, but I was watching it. A little electricity monster getting out of control in the box. Dude hits that shit with his finger, dude. I see him laying, kicking on the ground, and this other guy's videotaping it. I guess that's the rule. If we videotape what they did, if they kick and die because of dumb shit they did, Russia, come ready. Well, it might be. I don't know. Your Honor, that is speculative bullshit. I'm taking none of that. I can't prove it different either. I can't. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. It's not a filibuster you want. It's a not a hung jury. A jury annulment or nullification. The reality of the matter is, in a court case, you get, what is it, Rock taking on the casino in that one movie? The law says the judge can overrule this whole entire decision and be nope. Jury says that's what that is. Fallout from that system on what it does obviously doesn't make everybody... You could. Hearing Como talk about a judge that got shot somewhere. He could have been a suicide mass thing, could have been a hit. I have no clue what's going on. All I know is Como was involved. Dude, I'd have distanced myself far away from that motherfucker as humanly possible. Like, judges are dying. Yeah, stuff happens, but who the fuck? Oh, I gotta go out there and talk. You are out of your fucking mind. You gotta be crazy to jump on that stick unless you got something to do with it. And the only place to hide is on top of it. It's what they do. That is their fucking job. What the hell am I supposed to do about it as a mayor? Oh, COVID, riots, like anything more than this becomes a situation you do not want. workforce program, Salty running around on the street, because it's going to be the cops on the local system. You got to think, I'm going to grab that kid up. You know, if it's your nanny daycare, I will allow her to crack you in the head if it's a granny style that everybody in this town like. You know, we take it on the case, we green cameras, we're not breaking so far from gravity that it's like we're going to interfere with all the tax programs, and it's like just to let China, Russia, Red Dawn walk into town. No. Happy to send you your piece of the puzzle for what the proper ratio of the physics for these regions can actually fucking output, and then get used to that science and be able to generate a little entropy off of that. Up time, downtime, up time, downtime. Get the Babbitt Bear slamming on this thing and get on it. That's why it's like I'm going to grab case studies for psychology. I'm going to put them where psychology is. Not just some round off scout. Nah, before you get to the good stuff, you got to rise. And a lot of these people don't know any different, and that's where you're going to find real psychology out in that zone. Before any of that happened, the Epstein fear on this and about the moving bodies, and Hawking can't tell the differential on this because of all the mass holes in gravity. Well, take a look. Turn on the lights. Just get it done and over with. The third one. Hammering rabbits, man. Wrap them up. Yeah, I have nothing wrong with the, you know, if Fermilab guy, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they hit me like this in the stone mill. Teach that. Teach that, because then my safety mill guy got it, my manager got it. They can form entropy on the test. They can time those timelines, help them get money because physics. Higher orders of laser beams. If you wanted to get into it, here's that science. Here's what it does in the universe. This is what that thing looks like. You need to N1/2 that in the master matrix codes of the internet program, ... Not to do the course that I program for you, but to make one. My test is something that you can use, but then you'll get into ball A and ball B. And why a lot of times on something like the SAT, they'll throw something like salt grenade at you, say this looks like math, but it's actually a psychology problem. Show me your work. Now, there was only one answer judged by the system on what this is. What is correct? Most, if all, people failed this. Is this a philosophy answer? Is this a psychological answer in terms of I want to explain multiple fields? Or given its position in that test, the capstone for all the fields and every variation of that mathematical problem. And then use that N1/2 as the two on the two-phase rocket on this at the back end of those questions, and input those numbers based on this triangulation. That happens in the stone mill. You got burn rock on the ground, stocks, torch is starting to go, the stoichiometric ratio on it. What do? You adjust, adapt, you survive. And they call them tests like that. It's adapt to survive. You know, and it's not about the salty thing you need. A lot of jobs are very specific. You know, a lot of them are going to have governmental pull. I'm going to be hard on anybody who's the mayor, anybody who's sheriff, thinking about what they might like about this topology and quantum mechanics in terms of how it processes it, and the realization of just what an electrical monster it is when it gets out of the box, man. This thing is full-on arcing, kicking, yelling at you, hotter than the surface of the sun. You're going to have to walk into a cowboy's house like me one day and be like, Jordan, what do you do? You set it up. Where's the phone call? Where's the interview on this? Where's the proper rotation of trying to do this with a little bit of science instead of just brute force balls out physics in this? Hey, I love it. Love it, man. Run out there with a hog hunt and an AR-15 and just start slamming it like Farmer Brown. I get that. I find myself in that situation training troops one day. We out there because the bunny's out back getting out of control. Guess what's going to happen? We're going to be doing that one too. And that's how we're going to clean house. And guess what? Probably anybody else who gets worried about that going to like to pay to come through, as well as no, you want to get one somebody, this one right here on video is just bang back the head at 70 miles an hour, just click, click, bing, bang, boom. That's our stone mill brothers. What we doing? We step in the job in the office, we start doing what we do. You guys need a computer program. I'm going to start fielding that front desk. I'm going to start looking at the cases, say, Here's your hearing date. There's really only some basic rules about 40, 80 miles an hour, or 30 and 60, and the trajectory of 190 or 120, given the math on how many tickets you got, given the points on calculus, A, B, wheels, times, and perspectives. Absent fear. That's masked out. Right now it's happening at Collinsville all around you. Catch you on the next one.